Welcome back, everybody. Let's get after it.
I can call my boss.
We got a call saying that.
Yeah, somebody got attacked by the tiger inside. Ripped her arm off.
Oh my, are you serious?
Yes, we're serious. You hear all the lights and sirens? This isn't a joke. All right, where are the tigers at?
Over here, there's just one that's alone up there, but what's going on?
Hey, we got the keys!
You guys can get in with me. I got them.
Come on. Yeah, but you can cancel the city. Hey, you guys can cancel, bro. We're good. It's inside. Make sure they know where we're going. Hey, anybody else coming can slow it down.
Tiger is right over here.
Where would they be able to put their arms in?
It'll just be right at the fence.
Where's the tiger at?
Right up next to the fence. Can you just
Yeah, you hear?
oh my god.
Oh my god. Is that real?
Oh my god. Please help me. Echo, please help me.
The man who called 911 was 26-year-old River Rosenquist. River worked for HMI Commercial Cleaning. Their job is to clean the restrooms and the gift shop. That is it. Nothing else. But River, for some reason, got curious and got close to the tiger's cage and put his hand through it. Investigators still don't know if it was to feed the tiger or to pet it. He did not have permission to get close to the animal enclosures, but he did it anyway.
Hey, hold this.
Yep, I got you.
This is all that has to be held.
Okay, all right.
No, the scene's over here. He actually pulled him through right here.
What did you do?
He was pulling them.
Okay. Where is that?
I don't know. I had to.
Where did he get, man?
He was pulling him through right here,
Jesus Christ. How
and he had his arm in his mouth as I got here, trying to pull him through the fence.
Where's he at right now?
I know.
Where's he at right now?
I don't know. Where did he go? Do you know?
Did you shoot?
Yeah.
Someone shoot?
Yeah.
I heard a shot. One. Just one.
Yep. He took off.
Okay. All right.
You need to hold this for me, okay?
I got you. Yeah, I got you.
Hey, how do we get out of here?
Back this way. Follow the path all the way back. Follow the path all the way back.
So what happened to the tiger? Unfortunately, he was shot and killed. He was an 8-year-old Malayan tiger named Echo, and River Rosenquist was taken to the hospital and reportedly in fair condition. And HMI Commercial Cleaning has been suspended from working at the zoo, at least for now.
We keep getting the same story repeating itself over and over again. Somebody gets too close to an animal that's in a cage, ends up getting mauled or killed, then they end up having to kill the animal, like the animal did something wrong. It's just acting on instinct. You got too close to it and stuck your arm in its cage like an idiot. It's unfortunate, though, to see that that's how they solve the issue, but I guess it may just be something where once that animal gets a taste for blood, they can't really trust it anymore. I know I wouldn't want to go in there and feed it after it's already tasted a human arm.
So let me show you what I mean, because this is going to be mind-blowing. Have you ever seen this map? This map was discovered in a Buddhist temple, and it was published in the Hawaiian Gazette in 1910. And it shows 30, 40 other continents outside of Antarctica. Okay, so we went on a ship tracking. The site they'll show you where all the cargo ships in the world are. And we see all the ships here, and then we said, oh my God, look at this. Look at these ships. Ship. We noticed some ships 400 or 500 miles inside of Antarctica. Think about that. How did they get there? How did they get in here? 400 or 500 miles inside the shoreline of Antarctica. And when you click on any of these ships, it gives you all the information: who the captain is, where it's going, the cargo, what date, where, everything. So we click on these ships, and there's very little information, almost none. One ship we found out is 580 meters long, 80 meters wide. That's a gigantic ship, Richard. That's a massive ship. And all it said was it was registered in the island of Kiribati.
That is absolutely highly suspicious and needs some sort of logical explanation behind it, but I don't think it proves the flat earth. It just proves that we're being lied to. Does that mean that those lies are covering up the existence of a flat earth? Potentially. I'm going to say unlikely. It definitely has the appearance of some shady stuff going on. It certainly looks like there are ships in places where it shouldn't even be possible for a ship to get to. I don't know what that means. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and you like this kind of content, I make a new one just like it every single day. It'd be awesome if you'd hit that subscribe button and come back tomorrow to join me.
Do you remember the rumors of an underwater alien base being located just off the California coast near Malibu? And what was crazy is that you could even find it for yourself by checking out Google Maps. But you can't anymore, because that area has apparently been scrubbed. But of course, pictures of this structure still exist on the internet. And thanks to Ripley Cooks, we even have recent video of this anomaly. Whether it's a massive underwater alien base or just a really strange underwater geographical structure is unknown. But what is known is that it's 2,000 feet underwater and approximately 3 miles wide. And it appeared to have an array of columns that were supporting a giant dome. But now it's just a big blurry mess. And the changes of this area on Google Maps comes within days of Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet publishing his white paper titled Beneath the Surface. We may learn more about UAP by looking in the ocean. A paper in which he states that 71% of the Earth's surface is covered in water, but only 25% of the seabed has been mapped to modern standards. And only 5% of the total volume of the world's ocean has been explored. So we know more about the surface of Mars and the Moon than we do about our own ocean. And if we begin to explore our oceans in hopes of finding more evidence of UAPs, or in this case USOs, unidentified submerged objects, a byproduct of that effort is that we would learn a lot more about our planet and be better off because of it. And as a nation, it would potentially close any domain awareness gaps we have in the water. And that's why I think we should definitely be paying more attention to the underwater aspect of the phenomenon.
I don't have any theories on what this is, but I like the idea that the aliens or whatever these beings are, I'm not convinced that they're alien. I'm not convinced of that at all. But wherever they're coming from, it would make more sense that they're coming up from under the water as opposed to coming from outer space. We haven't mapped out our entire oceans. We know there's a lot of areas down there that haven't been explored. So it's not outside the realm of possibility that there's something living down there, something that can withstand that pressure, or that has the technology that's advanced enough that they can withstand that pressure and survive. And then you hear the stories of the UFOs that are coming out from underneath the water at the Solomon Islands. That lends some credibility to this potentially being a underground base of some sort. I'm not convinced that's what it is, but it is highly suspicious that they all of a sudden just glossed over this area of the maps and made it where you can't really look at it anymore.
This Airbnb is really cool, but like the closer I look, like it's a bit odd. There's some little odd pieces. It's a really pretty bathroom. It's the bedroom that, you know, is cause for concern. And then mirror. Mirror. And then I went to iron my clothes. And there is a secret entrance from the hallway. The door is right there. You can't see it. Hold on. There's a secret. Oh. That goes to the hallway. The washer machine is going on. Oh my god.
All right, I don't understand people renting rooms in other people's houses. You're not renting an Airbnb like you're renting a hotel. You're staying in a stranger's home. You're taking on all of the risk that's associated with doing such a thing. I'm not renting an Airbnb unless I'm getting the entire house and it's got a security code on the door that gets changed every time somebody new comes in. I've just seen too much stuff online of cameras hidden behind two-way mirrors and stuff like that. You got to be careful, people. Be careful where you're laying your head down at night.
Peter, you've witnessed children being sacrificed at the Grove?
You know, I did. And I've made this very public. It's revolving around the case, the missing child case of Kevin Collins. And if anybody looks it up on the internet, they still say that it's an unsolved case. I've been to law enforcement in San Francisco. I made a mention of this for the first time back in 2003 while I was still in jail for another issue. And I thought I would be on death row. I, myself, Peter Alexander Cherneff, am one of 3 people that have witnessed ritualistic murders of children during the 80s up here, during the 80s. The other one is David Schurter, and the third person is Paul Bonacci.
I'm calling for a dig. I'm calling for the cadaver dogs to come in and the equipment that can identify bodies that have been buried underneath the ground there. Are you in favor of that?
I would be, and it would be an interesting thing to see what happens. I can tell you from past experience and what I know from other sources, also firsthand, is they go way out of their way to dispose of bodies. And but I would definitely support that. You know, I watched a couple days ago, just to check on things, I watched a little video talking about the cremation of care, and they were making light of this. Well, the cremation of care, what it is, really, it's a discussion regarding population control. They're making decisions as to what group of millions of people they're going to genocide next. And we all have seen the genocides over the last 10, 15 years for anybody that's paying even a modicum of attention. I am one of 3 people that has publicly acknowledged being involved in ritualistic murder of children up in Bohemian Grove.
Now, I don't know if this guy is to be believed. I don't know what his name is. They didn't give us that information in the video. But anybody could stand there and say what this guy's saying and make that claim, because he's not giving us any new information. He's saying the same thing we already... That's pretty much common knowledge. He's saying the same thing we all already knew.
Remember back in the 1930s when archaeologists found an Egyptian temple buried in eastern Tennessee?
That's okay. Not a lot of people do. But back in 1934, they were building something called Norris Dam, just north of Knoxville, Tennessee. The Tennessee Valley Authority started surveying the valley that the Norris Dam was going to flood. They found many native mounds and started excavating a bit, and found some really extraordinary things. As they started digging, they found layer after layer, and went down over 20 foot until they found a 100-foot by 100-foot platform with a large raised area in the center. They called this a temple.
As they dug deeper and deeper, they found multiple skeletons on the site, unlike any that they'd found in the area. And the site itself kept getting deeper and deeper. It appeared to just keep going. At the time, it caused quite an uproar, and over 400 workers were excavating that site.
They found multiple relics that were unlike anything they had seen in the area, including a pigment box that held a shade of purple that could only be found in sea mollusks and was completely unknown in North America.
The site gained the attention of James Randall Harris, a professor of ancient languages from Cambridge, and later Johns Hopkins University. Harris came up with some very interesting conclusions. And I quote, "The Hopewell," he writes, "were latecomers who raised the mounds of earth over a much older temple built by pharaonic Egyptian emigres to the most important deities, Isis, the Queen of Heaven, and her husband, Osiris, the god of resurrection." I have his book on order, as well as the 400-page book on the excavation from the Smithsonian, so I'll undoubtedly be speaking about this more in a future video. But for now, that area has some very interesting correspondences with legends from the Cherokee. The Cherokee have legends about a group of priesthood that lived in their area called the Ani-Kutani. This priesthood was wiped out. Now I'm going to read this directly from a historical source, so you know it's not my words. Quote, from Cherokee Principal Chief Charles Hicks in 1826 in his manuscript, The History of the Cherokee People, "The mound builders were greatly weakened by a plague. We entered the North Carolina mountains from the west, and we killed and drove off the mound builders. We burned their temples atop the mounds and then constructed our towns and houses on the mounds. The Cherokee never built any mounds." Further on, quote, "The Ani-Kutani professed themselves, as stated by the traditioners, to be the teachers of heavenly knowledge from the creation, and the manner of their introduction to the assembled people is usually at night. And it usually came with the words, 'I am from above.' The name was a foreign word to the Cherokee. The Kutani came to mean somebody who starts a fire or a sorcerer."
These tales all come from the area of eastern Tennessee, right where that temple is, and that temple is now under a lake.
I find this interesting, and it adds to the theory that the United States is actually old Egypt. I've heard this theory. I've heard that they found Egyptian artifacts here, like in the Grand Canyon and stuff. They found a lot of Egyptian hieroglyphs and things like that in caves. I don't think that this is old Egypt. I think that whoever was teaching the Egyptians how to create the pyramids and have all this advanced technology and stuff, I think that they were branching out all over the world and trying to teach this stuff to everybody. And they had more time or something and got more advanced in Egypt than they did in other locations. Or their teachings just simply took hold there in a way that they didn't take elsewhere.
My name is Bliss, and I'm an engineer at Neuralink. And I'd like to introduce you to the first ever user of the Neuralink device.
Yeah, my name's Nolan Arbaugh. I'm 29 years old. About 8 years ago, I was in kind of a freak diving accident and dislocated my C4, C5. So I'm a complete quadriplegic. So I'm paralyzed from below the shoulders.
Do you want to explain a little bit what's going on here?
Yeah, so I love playing chess, and so this is one of the things that y'all have enabled me to do, something that I wasn't able to really do much the last few years, especially not like this. I had to use like a mouse stick and stuff, but now it's all being done with my brain. If y'all can see the cursor moving around the screen, that's all me, y'all. It's pretty cool, huh?
And that was also done with your brain?
Yep, it's all brain power up there.
Can you explain a little bit just to people who maybe don't have any context on this field or what's going on here? How are you able to actually move the cursor?
Yeah, so we started out with trying out a few different things. We basically went from what we call kind of differentiating, like imagined movement versus attempted movement. So a lot of what we started out with was attempting to move. So I would attempt to move, say, my right hand, left, right, forward. And from there, I think it just became intuitive for me to start imagining the cursor moving. Basically, it was like using the force on a cursor, and I could get it to move wherever I wanted. Just stare somewhere in the screen, and it would move where I wanted it to. Which was such a wild experience. One of the first times y'all gave me complete control over this, I actually stayed up until, like 6 a.m. playing Civilization 6. It was worth it, I guess is the best way to put it. It was awesome. I had basically given up on playing that game just because of how... it's a big game, and the amount of time that it takes to sit in on it it's just a lot, and I have to worry about a lot of things, getting pressure sores and things like that. So I just wasn't really able to play it as much as I wanted to, and y'all gave me the ability to do that again, and I played it for, like 8 hours that day. The surgery was super easy. I literally was released from the hospital a day later. I have no, cognitive impairments.
I threw this in here. For one, it's very interesting. This is the first person with a Neuralink brain implant, so obviously everybody wants to see that, but I thought it was interesting. We're all scared of this stuff, and it's all very worrisome that they're putting plants in our brains and stuff like this, and we all worry about the mark of the beast and all these different things. But it's different whenever you see how it's actually used and how it's affecting an individual's life. It makes it a lot less nefarious seeming. Now, could this turn out to be something nefarious in the long run? Absolutely it could be. To have something implanted in your brain that could be controlled by someone else is just it's a risk I'll never take. But it is really cool to see that it is helping people, that the desired intent of it is coming to fruition. It's actually making it where this dude who was previously incapable can now play video games and enjoy his life to a degree that he wasn't previously able to. It's very, very cool.
I do think in our lifetime, it's going to play out where the masses will come around to this. Again, it's what I was saying earlier, as the awareness, let's say we're at 10% or whatever of the total population, they're awake. Awake meaning they know. They've seen the beings, they know, or maybe they haven't seen them, but they just know, right? As that grows, I think the sightings will grow. And I think we're going to hit a critical mass where it's going to go somewhere above 50%, where it's like it's not really an issue of free will anymore, because when the majority of the population believes, well, okay, well, we can show up. You know, you guys you're okay with it. They're not going to just infringe on the word. People always ask, they're like, well, why don't they just show up for the masses and say, we're here, we're real? They can't do that. It's infringing on free will, right? But again, so we're going to hit that point, I think, and I think that when we hit that point, we're going to hit this mass shift in consciousness where we start having leaps and bounds, quantum leaps and bounds in our understanding of reality, consciousness, the mysteries of life after death, technology. I think everything is going to change. I think we're going to very quickly shift into a much better place because our understanding of everything is going to shift. First things first, they're going to do away with the agenda of all of this scientific crap that is trying to paint this picture that we're just nothing special. It's only Darwinian evolution or only Big Bang, you know, all this indication there is no spiritual phenomenon. I think that's going to fade away. We're going to take this old news and we're going to stop caring about it. I think it needs to stop being taught. I think the truth, I think the reality is somewhere in the middle. I think it's evolution, but I think it's through intelligence, right? I don't think it's Darwinian evolution. I think it's more so like what the Rosicrucians, you know, and the wisdom traditions teach, that it's like God is evolving us, right? But in reality, it's like it's not just physical and biological evolution, it's the evolution of consciousness. The fact that the human body and any sort of biological life evolves is only a reflection of the evolving consciousness, right? So over time our consciousness is evolving, and therefore, you know, we're evolving too. The scientists are like, oh, you know, it's Darwinian this and that, and it's evolution. That's a tiny little piece. They're looking in the corner of the room. They're not looking at the whole picture. It's consciousness evolution.
I think that he's off a step, because I don't think that we evolve at all. Like conscious evolution, I can get behind the idea of that, but physical evolution, there's no proof that evolution is even a thing in human beings. We don't have these missing links that they're supposed to have that would show the link between us and a previous hominid or previous being, a previous version of humanity. There's just too many leaps being taken in order to make all that stuff fit for me to believe in evolution. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave the video there. I hope you enjoyed these clips that we watched together today. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. I hope you come back to join me. I hope you have a great, safe, fantastic rest of your Thursday, and I will see you back here tomorrow.